Welcome to Real World Peaceful Parenting, a podcast for parents that are tired of yelling, threatening, and punishing their kids. Join mom and master certified parent coach Lisa Smith as she gives you actionable, step-by-step strategies that'll help you transform your household from chaos to cooperation. Let's dive in.
Welcome to today's episode. It's been a year, can you believe it? This past week on January 27th, I celebrated the 1-year anniversary of Real World Peaceful Parenting. I am so excited to begin year 2 with you, to meet you here every week and share tips, tools, ideas, support, and coaching on your path to peaceful parenting. And today, I promise, is going to be an amazing episode. You're absolutely going to love it. Today, we're going to talk about what to do if you're not on the same page as your co-parent. And I don't care whether you're living together, currently in a relationship, separated, divorced, living in different households, maybe you were never together. If you're co-parenting with someone and you're not on the same page, you're going to want to tune in, take notes, and stay open-minded. Because what I'm about to share with you is probably not what you're expecting. But if you listen with an open mind, it has the opportunity to make a huge impact on how you think about your parenting, your co-parent, the relationship they have with your children, and your family as a whole. So let's dig in. I'm going to start by breaking down peaceful parenting into 3 phases. There are 3 phases to becoming a peaceful parent. I love 3s. Phase 1 is you recognize that you're not parenting the way you thought you would, or the way you want to, or you recognize that the way you've been parenting your kids is not working. Maybe because you're dysregulated all the time, you're not getting the cooperation you're looking for, or you feel really bad about your parenting. In phase 1, you don't like the behaviors that your child or kids are presenting, and you're realizing your desperate need for compliance is adding fuel to the fire instead of producing effective results. In phase 1, maybe on your path, you realize that enjoying your child has become nothing more but a bitter fantasy you dreamt up a long time ago, and you've lost all hope. Maybe you're feeling exhausted, guilty, incapable, stuck, and certain your child's going to be living under a bridge with a shopping cart one day. So you have this recognition. Phase 1 is this absolute recognition that you're not parenting the way you want to or getting the results that you want. And that causes you to move into phase 2. Maybe I show up in your Facebook feed one day. Maybe someone recommends me to you and you find me, Lisa Smith, the Peaceful Parent. Maybe you've read my book, The Angry Parent, How to Find Peace in Your Parenting Through the Message of Anger. Maybe you've started tuning in weekly to the podcast or occasionally. Maybe you've listened to an entire year's worth of episodes. Maybe you've participated in my 3-day challenge or in one of my workshops. Or maybe you're following me on Facebook or Instagram. And then you take the next step and maybe you buy one of my courses like Peaceful Parenting 101, The Anger Cleanse, or Peace and Quiet. And maybe through all this, you start learning about the source of your anger or your triggers. You start learning about thought work. You dig into what's really going on for your child when he or she or they are storming. You start to really grasp the principles of brain science and how to stay neutral when your kids are storming by working on decreasing your triggers. And then you start practicing the peaceful parenting tools that I give you, that I teach you, and you start noticing little connections with your kids that weren't there before. You start noticing increased cooperation. You start to notice yourself staying calm when all hell's breaking loose in your house. You start to feel successful. You start to feel enlightened. You start to have some success. You're moving down the path of peaceful parenting. And sometimes while we're moving down this path of peaceful parenting, we move into phase 3 and really the topic of today's episode. Phase 3 is you've made progress, maybe a little, maybe a lot, and yet the person you co-parent with remains stuck in their old parenting paradigm or stuck in their dominant parenting ways, and they show no interest in making any changes to the way they're parenting. Maybe your co-parent argues that dominant parenting worked on them when they were a kid and they turned out just fine. Maybe your co-parent seems more concerned about compliance from your child and doesn't understand how connection with your child can lead to cooperation. And you're starting to experience personally the benefits of connection. You're starting to experience an understanding of why your child's storming, a compassion and empathy. You're understanding that your child isn't giving you a hard time, they're having a hard time. And so you're personally experiencing the benefits of connection over compliance. And with this enlightenment, you have this giant urge, desire, compelling sense within you to teach your co-parent the principles and tools of peaceful parenting. You try to explain what they're doing wrong or talk to them about the essence of peaceful parenting. And unfortunately, what might be happening is it drives you further away in your relationship with your co-parent rather than uniting you, which is frustrating. You can't understand why they can't get on board with this new way of parenting. And you feel torn between your relationship with your child and your relationship with your co-parent. There might even be times where you feel like you have to choose. You have to choose between showing up in a compassionate, understanding way for your child in this new way of parenting or in this evolved way of parenting, or jumping back to the old dominant way you were parenting before. But that feels like you're selling your soul or you're turning your back on the relationship with your child. So subconsciously, you feel torn between the old way and the new way, torn between your co-parent and your child or children. And then maybe sometimes you feel like a mama or a papa bear having to defend your child against your co-parent's dominant ways. Yeah? Oh, I hear you. I understand. I understand that this is painful, really painful. I like to say, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain is the circumstance, and suffering is our thoughts about the circumstance. Suffering comes from your thoughts. In this case, it's not your co-parent who's causing you to suffer. It's your thoughts about the way the co-parent is showing up, or what they should be doing, or how they should be listening to you, or how they should be getting on board with this new enlightened way of parenting. The good news is that you have 100% of the power to change your thoughts. I imagine sometimes your thoughts are, my co-parent is hurting our child. My co-parent is undermining and undoing all the work I'm putting into building a connection with our child. My co-parent doesn't value my ideas or my desires. My co-parent refuses to learn or change. Maybe your thoughts are, my co-parent is teaching our child or modeling dominance for our child. Or maybe you're thinking, my child is acting the way he or she is because of the co-parent. Okay, here's the news. Thoughts are neither true or untrue. They fall more into a category of useful or not useful. And the thoughts you might be thinking about your co-parent may not be useful. They may not be serving you or your co-parent or your relationship or your child. Your thoughts are causing you suffering, which is absolutely not useful. So what to do about this? Well, my suggestion might surprise you. What to do when you're not on the same page with your co-parent. Now, in the past, you've probably tried to teach, lecture, share, inform with little to no success. Yeah? All right. So let's try something different. I have 3 suggestions for you. Remember, I love the number 3. So let's try 3 new ideas to help you and your co-parent work towards getting on the same page. So unuseful thoughts can't be wished away or ignored. They need to be replaced. So the question is, what new thoughts could serve you better when your co-parent is parenting with dominance? You could try, my co-parent is passionate about raising our child to be a good person. You could try, my co-parent is right where I used to be. I get it. You could try on the thought, my co-parent is confused about my sudden change in parenting philosophy and fearful that I'm abandoning our partnership by moving in a new direction. You could try the thought, my co-parent needs empathy, patience, support, and validation from me, right? That's a better thought. You could try on the thought, my co-parent, like all humans, is resistant to change. I was too, and that's okay. I'm just a few steps ahead, and I'm okay with taking the lead, modeling the new way of parenting, and waiting for my co-parent to catch up. Oh, I love that one. That's my favorite. You could try on the thought, my child is marked for greatness and is resilient. Here's another good one. My co-parent's relationship to my child is none of my business. It's something they need to figure out together. You could try on the new thought, my peaceful parenting is a blessing to our family. And I'm so lucky that at least one of us is bringing these tools into the family. And finally, you could try on the thought, I can stay on my path of peaceful parenting regardless of what my co-parent does or doesn't do, how they show up. This leads me to the second thing you can do about your dominant co-parent. Model peaceful parenting. Just like children, adults learn to best by example, not by being talked at or reprimanded or judged, right? You can't use dominant coaching to dominate your co-parent into peaceful parenting. It makes me laugh just to say it. Just like children, adults too learn best by example, not by being talked at or reprimanded or judged. Adults need proof and evidence and time to accept new ideas and actually see them working. Modeling is the most effective tool you have in bringing your co-parent onto your page. It takes time, and it takes you focusing on your own thoughts and your own reactions to your storming child and your tools for connecting with your child. It takes a real commitment to peaceful parenting, no matter what your co-parent is doing. I've seen this over and over and over again. I've seen this all around the world with thousands of parents at this point. And what I know is that the change in your relationship with your child will become apparent and desirable, so desirable that it will encourage your co-parent to take notice of what's changed and what's working. As you're modeling, you will show them what's possible and you will inspire them to change. But that's less likely to happen when you're using dominance to try to convince them to take on peaceful parenting. So just stay convicted and all in on peaceful parenting, and then stay convicted and all in on modeling peaceful parenting for your co-parent with your kids. And be patient. Stay the course. Focus on your thoughts, your reactions to your storming child, and your tools for connecting with your child. And hopefully over time, your co-parent will take notice and start asking questions. You can also tell your co-parent stories about your own situation. Hey, I tried this today, and oh my goodness, to my surprise, it worked. We connected. He did what I asked. She calmly put her shoes on and we got in the car for school. Oh my goodness, co-parent, guess what? This works. And the whole time I felt connected to her. Inspire rather than command your co-parent to change. And then be patient. And maybe they'll change and maybe they won't. And that's okay too. Your co-parent's response to your peaceful parenting and their relationship with their child is not something you can control. I like to say it's not really any of your business. Your child and their other parent have to find their way. Your job is to stay in your business of staying committed to peaceful parenting. Focus on the benefits that you're bringing to your relationship with your kids and let the rest go. If you're bringing peaceful parenting to your kids and to the relationship, they're at least getting peaceful parenting 50% of the time. And that's 50% more than they were getting when there was constant dominant parenting in the household. Another suggestion could be to separate your relationship with your co-parent from the relationship you have with your child. Consider discussing and offering to take the lead in the heavy lifting role of parenting in your home. Maybe it's true that not everyone was built to parent. Your co-parent may be an ideal partner for you, but maybe not necessarily be an ideal parent or be ready to parent. And that's okay. That doesn't make your co-parent a bad person. Maybe he or she has just been given different gifts. Peaceful parenting may not be one of them. Help them thrive in using their own gifts that benefit your family and considering offering your gift of peaceful parenting to your kids. Lastly, through it all, hold space for your co-parent, for your child, for yourself, for your family. Hold space that you all can get where you want to be. Recognize your own growth, how far you've come, in understanding your child, why they storm, how to stay regulated, how to recognize their feelings and needs. Recognize your growth and how far you've come, and believe that your co-parent can get there. Believe before you even have any proof. Believe. In the coaching world, we call this holding space. Many times, I am holding space for my clients that they can have the transformation they want to have before they have any evidence, before they believe. We call it holding space. And when you hold space for the other person, you're bringing empathy and understanding. You're bringing compassion to the relationship. And you're saying, I know you can get there. I'll hold space. I'll hold a safe container that you're going to get where you need to be. And while I'm holding the space, I'll be committed on my own to peaceful parenting. While I'm holding the space, I'll model peaceful parenting for you so you can see what it looks like. So you can see the connection building with our kids. So you can see the cooperation that I'm getting rather than compliance. I'll hold the space that you're going to catch up or at some point be interested and ask questions. It's such a beautiful gift we give people when we hold space for them, when we believe in them even before they believe, when we believe without there being any exact evidence that it's going to happen. So to recap, if you're not on the same page with your co-parent, whether you're in a relationship or not, whether you're living together or not, if you've moved down the path of peaceful parenting and you want your co-parent to follow you down the path, I suggest 3 things. Number 1, manage your thoughts. Pay attention, observe, listen, witness your thoughts, and choose thoughts that cause less suffering. I can stay on my path of peaceful parenting regardless of what my co-parent does. My co-parent, like all humans, is resistant to change. I was too. And I'm just a few steps ahead. My co-parent is right where I used to be. I know he or she or they will get there. Number 2, model. Don't lecture, don't teach, don't coach. Model and share your successes. This was the greatest tool for me that I brought into my home with my husband. Model and share successes. Be committed to peaceful parenting no matter what, and model that. And number 3 is to hold space. Believe. Have an energy of, I believe you're going to get there. These are the resources I'm using, by the way, if you ever want to tap into them. But I know you're going to get there, and I'm going to hold space until you do. You've got this. You're doing great. I mean, look how far you've come. Stay focused on your commitment to peaceful parenting. Keep building the connection with your child. Keep holding space for your co-parent. What you're doing is changing the trajectory of your family for generations to come. You're a rock star, and I believe in you. Until we meet again, I'm wishing you peaceful parenting. Thank you so much for listening today. I want to personally invite you to head over to thepeacefulparent.com/welcome and sign up for my free Peaceful Parenting mini course. You'll find everything you need to get started on the path to peaceful parenting just waiting for you over there at www.thepeacefulparent.com/welcome. Can't wait for you to get started.
Thanks for listening to Real World Peaceful Parenting. If you want more info on how you can transform your parenting, visit thepeacefulparent.com. See you soon.